I wanted to come here, and I'm gonna speak maybe a little bit about. I was thinking in the beginning to speak about some of my work in the Knesset, and me and many of my other colleagues here, Moti and Shuli, and many other that left as well. We do a lot of work, you know, in many fields: environmental, animal welfare, women issues, social issues, education, and many more, exactly the same as your democracy. I mean, our society here in Israel is very similar in a sense where we believe in the same values, and we promote our countries and these values by it, based on the principle of a democratic country. Now, in our neighborhood in the Middle East, it's a different environment than in the States. It's a different kind of neighborhood. I mean, you're very lucky. Your bordering neighbors share those same values. Those values of democracy and freedom of individual, of equality. Unfortunately, the reality here in Israel is very different. And every day is a struggle on our external border, internal borders, as Avi put it and analyzed it quite well, through the history of Israel, having the wars and terror, and every time we had to defend ourselves. And it's not just to defend Israel. It's to defend this only country in the Middle East that gives hope to the other countries around it for the opportunity that maybe in the future they will have a similar society. Israel is a proof in the Middle East. It's a proof that it doesn't matter how many different tribes or religion or cultures your community is assembled with. It doesn't matter how much difference in your religious views or anything like that. Democracy and those values, those liberties are a possibilities. It's a possibility here in the Middle East, and Israel is a proof of that. It's not just a proof for our neighbors. I mean, this is partial. Why? I mean, through the whole history, not just the history of Israel, but through the history of the Jewish people have always been persecuted, always been hated. Partially is because of these values that we believe in. Those values that we carry with us through thousands of years with this holy book, which is called the Bible, which tells the story of our history. I mean, those ideas of freedom and liberty and democracy that we're promoting here in the Middle East, it's not foreign to us that we were leading, you know, social revolutions thousands of years ago. I mean, take the Ten Commandments. What is that? That is a social revolutionary idea. This is, let's take the Shabbos, the only day in the week, one day out of 7 days, where everybody, doesn't matter if you're Jewish, if you're a slave, if you're an animal, a working animal, this is this one day that everybody have to rest by law. What is that? Can you imagine other countries or kings thinking, what is this revolutionary idea? I have slaves and they have to work the whole time. Who's gonna shake my stable kingdom? Those Jewish people? And I mean, I can give you thousands of examples through those thousands of years that the Jewish people have existed. And Israel is this one more example of that. Where those countries around us are saying, how dare they? How dare bringing democracies and values of freedom and liberty into our neighborhood? You can see in the last declaration of ISIS that this is exactly what they've said. Why they murdered innocent, and I don't know if they consider them innocent, but they murdered people by drowning them in hot zephet. How do you say it? Tar. Saying that they are traitors. They are traitors because they wanted Muslim people to die in the name of democracy and freedom. And we're bringing this to their neighborhood, and this is one of the reasons why we've been hated as well through all of these years. Our conflict here in Israel There's many layers for it. But the founding base for our conflict is a cultural and a religious one. It's part of what we've been hated for thousands of years. And I know Avi Dichter did an amazing explanation of our history and our security problems and defense problem. But I want to speak maybe about some of our challenges that are happening now. Because not many people, even Israelis, they don't understand what we're facing at this time. Israel, through its history, has faced different times of attempt for eliminations. For example, we had these total wars where all these countries around us open a war against Israel to eliminate our country. It happened in our independence war, where 5 countries opened a war to eliminate Israel. We were outnumbered, they had better weapons, they had bigger armies, they had better everything. Yet we defeated them. And they thought that by force they'll eliminate us, and they tried again. And we defeated them again, and they tried again, and we defeated them again, until they understood that by force and violence they will not defeat the Jewish people, they will not scare us away from this country that we were allowed to return to after thousands of years. And so those countries maybe gave up. But then we started a new kind of war, a new kind of way for them to try and eliminate us. And it was through terror. Those suicide bombers, Avi described it, murdering innocent people in restaurants, in bars, in buses. There's not one single person in Israel who wasn't affected by it. And they thought that through this terror, they will scare us away. They will eliminate our country. Yet we found a way how to defeat them, how to defeat their terror infrastructure, and they did not defeat us. And so they understood that through violence and through terror, the Israeli people will not be defeated. And so they have opened a new kind of front, a new kind of war to eliminate the state of Israel now. And this is what Israel is facing today. This is one of our biggest challenges against elimination of our country. And it is fought on 3 main fronts. One of them is about our reputation. What does it mean? These values, this amazing country that we were able to create from nothing, a stable economy that is advancing humanity with medical technology and water technology, medical research. They are trying to destabilize our values, to spread lies or spread partial truth about what Israel is really about. I mean, the fact that we are the only democracy, the fact that we share similar values, that's one of the reasons why all of these, the America, Canada, and many other countries stand beside us, because they understand that. And so they understood that if they can shake these values and try to tell the world that we don't believe in those similar values, then maybe those countries will not stand beside us. This is what they're doing all around the world, in media, on social media, on campuses, saying that Israel is a racist country. Israel is this apartheid state. There's genocide that is happening here in Israel. I mean, those are complete lies. There are genocides happening all around us. Not one is happening here. An apartheid country, apartheid state. What does that mean? It means that the state is separating its education system, separate medical, hospitals, separate governments. Everything is separate restaurants. That's an apartheid state. Israel is the only society in the Middle East where its minority are taking part in every aspect of our society. And it doesn't matter if it's our medical field, where our minorities, Arabs, Jews, Christian, Muslim, Druze, Bedouin, are working together in hospital as nurses, as doctor. The head of the Nahariya hospital, he's from an Arab minority. We don't see that. If we look on the judging system, on our court system, our minorities are serving as lawyers, are judges in our Supreme Court. They sit a judge who is an Arab. Can you imagine that in the black South Africa, the apartheid South Africa, a black person sitting in the Supreme Court of the South African court? Or can you imagine that in any other country that is surrounding us? Can you imagine in Iran sitting a Jewish person in the Supreme Court? Or in Syria? Would that ever happen there? So who share the same values? If we look on our parliament has an Arab list who has 12 seats. That's 10% of our parliament represented by our minority. Does that sound like an apartheid country? This is a complete lie that they're spreading in order to shake the country that stands with Israel. So to make them think as if we don't believe in those similar values, as if those neighboring country or the Palestinian Authority stand in the same values as them. Can you imagine a parliamentarian, a Jewish parliamentarian in the Palestinian parliament? That would have never happened. Not under any kind of leadership there. And this is one front that we are battling on campuses, in media, in social media. It is a front that we're fighting on our reputation so other countries will stand beside us. The second front that we are battling today is our economy. Israel doesn't have natural resources like most of our neighbors. And so we rely on trade, export, investments. We're able to create this incredible economy, a stable one, that is exporting the medical research and advanced technology, cyber security to all around the world. And they understand that if they cut our economy, if they boycott it through all around the world, if they are able to destroy our economy, how are we meant to live in our country without any natural resource? And so that's one of the goals of the BDS and all these pro-Palestinian groups, to eliminate the state of Israel through destroying our economy. Because how will we be able to create this society here without it? The third front that we are battling here today is about our history as well. And what does that mean? They are trying to change the books of history, not just through universities, through different books that they're spreading, through international governments or international bodies, like the UN, for example. What happened with UNESCO a few months ago? What happened is that they declared the United Nations body, who's in charge of preserving history of all nations, all people, all religions, is rewriting the Jewish history. They are saying that the Temple Mount and the Wailing Wall, this is the most holiest site for the Jewish people for thousands of years. They have declared that it has no relationship to Judaism or to Jews, only to Muslims. What do you think is this Balfour nonsense of they're trying to take them to the court? Why do they do that? Because they understand. They understand if we don't have roots here in Israel, if we don't know our history, if we don't have history here, what right do we have to exist here? And so this battle that Israel is facing now is about the attempt to eliminate our country in those three fields. And this is a fight that is not just fought by Israelis. We need the help of the Jewish community and other communities all around the world. It doesn't affect just the Jewish people here in Israel. You can see that the real front is battled through the Jewish communities overseas, in America, where Jewish students on campuses are being outsided. They're being labeled as Jews. Product or shops of Jewish people are being boycotted by these organizations. This is coming to your front door at your home. This is the fight that you need to fight as well. More so, the fight about our history, this is just the start. If they are able to change the Jewish history, what kind of history does the Christians will have? How easy would it be then to manipulate their history? How far will they take it there? And about our economy as well. This economy is sustaining one of the most incredible miracles in the Middle East. One that gives hope to other countries around us. One that supports not just the Jewish people, but Christian and Muslims and many other minorities. If Israel will be eliminated in this attempt, they will lose their hope as well for democracy and freedom. But I can tell you that we didn't give up with this total war, even though we were outnumbered and we were needing to fight many bigger and stronger armies. They didn't defeat us with terror. They didn't scare us. And they will not scare us with this new front that they open on eliminating Israel. We will beat them as well with God's will.
Thank you.
I want to thank you very much for coming here to Israel. In the name of all the Knesset members who are here. This is one of the most important things that you can do. Come to this country, experience it, see the reality here. Bring the truth back home and say it, spread it to your friends, to your neighbors, to your business partners, to your friends on campuses, everybody. This is how we'll be able to fight it together. And these missions are one of the strongest weapons with them we are able to fight it. Thank you very much.